Good day, life science students. Welcome to video lecture episode 16. Remember, we're in chapter 27, which is the last chapter for the school year, and that's Conserving Resources, chapter 27. Remember, we talked about the main ideas. Remember, that was resources, pollution, and the 3 R's of conservation in connecting with conserving resources. We also concluded talking about 2 types of resources, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. So let's start with renewable resources. Some resources are considered renewable. Any resource that is recycled or replaced by nature is considered a renewable resource. Sunlight, water, air, and crops. And let me talk a little bit about those. The sun provides heat and light. Rain fills lakes and streams with water. And then, of course, plants add oxygen to air and food. So that's just talking about sunlight, water, air, and crops as some renewable resources. Now let's consider a concept called supply and demand in connection with this. Sometimes there is not enough supply to meet the demand. In other words, what's in stock is not there to meet what people actually need. That sometimes happens. In fact, in some parts of the world, such as the desert regions of Africa, wood is scarce, and they may use solar energy for cooking in spite of that. Now let's talk about what non-renewable resources are. Non-renewable resources are natural resources that are used up more quickly than they can be replaced. Some examples would include fossil fuels, oil, natural gas, coal. Now let's talk about something in connection with those fossil fuels, and that's petroleum. Petroleum is an oil made from microscopic marine organisms buried in the Earth's surface. And we use petroleum to make gasoline, paints, plastic bags, and a lot more things. Now if you look at slide 99, you see some images in connection with this. In other words, how we refine the oil and how we extract it as well. Now let's talk a little bit more about non-renewable resources on slide 100. Now some other examples of non-renewable resources would be minerals and metals, diamonds, graphite and pencil lead, aluminum, iron, copper, tin, gold, silver, tungsten, and other metals. We may use metal to make cars, plumbing, building, skyscrapers, etc. Think about all the things that we use to make, alright? Now let's talk a little bit more about fossil fuels to finish up our discussion today. Fossil fuels are a combustible material found deep in Earth's crust made from decayed organisms. Okay, that's what it's defined as. Now most common fossil fuels used that you're familiar with are coal, petroleum/oil, natural gas. They are buried deep, hence the name fossil fuel. It's deep within the Earth. Alright, now let's go to slide 102 and let's talk about fossil fuel use and our concern. Billions of people use fossil fuels every day. In 1999, 84% of the energy produced in the United States came from coal, oil, and natural gas. Because they are limited, in the future they may become more expensive to obtain. We have become very reliant on them. Now, let's talk about some problems due to fossil fuels. One would be environmental problems, and what I mean by that is destruction of ecosystems. They must be burned to release energy stored in them, but burning the fossil fuels produces waste gas and air pollution. So these are just some of the concerns that we have to think about in connection with the use of fossil fuels. Now we're going to conclude our discussion with 2 slides, slide 103 and 104. On slide 103, you just see a coal mine and how we obtain coal, just so you can visually see how that looks. And then on slide 4 you see some oil wells, in other words these platforms used to draw out oil that which we use, like I said, most often in burning in our cars. Alright, I do hope this discussion has been helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Send me an email, send me a message. I hope it's been helpful. Have a nice day. Take care.